Welcome to episode 4 of the Alan Holman Show. Later on this episode, you will see a brief interview that I had with a guy named Mikey Smith. And this guy has a really unique looking vehicle. And you'll see his vehicle in the video. And that's later on this episode. First, before we get to that, we got some other segments. He gave me this picture of the star Sirius. That's a cool picture of the star Sirius, and you could find out more about why the picture looks that way and why it's important to Mikey Smith and others that the star be shown like that. You could find out more about that by looking up this Mikey Smith individual who I had the pleasure of talking with earlier today. And yeah, you'll see a portion of the conversation that I had with him later in this episode. But first, we've got some segments. What I mean by a portion is I talked with him while I was getting out my phone to record, and also a little bit after that recording was done. But I recorded a 3-minute portion of our conversation, and you will see that on this episode a little later. And within the 3-minute conversation video, I also got some footage of his vehicle, and his vehicle looks very unique. You've probably never seen a vehicle that looks how this guy's vehicle looks. So you will see that later in this episode, but we've got some fun segments for you before that. And well, I hope you'll enjoy this episode. While you're watching this episode, I'll be using my projector to watch a completely different show. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll get to the segments now. Hi, this is the travel and culture segment of the Alan Holman Show. So, for this segment, I would like to suggest that you travel to your nearest comic book store, get a stack of Star Wars comics for whatever they cost. This is my stack of Star Wars comics. I haven't read any of these yet. I will be reading them in the near future. But yeah, get a stack of Star Wars comics and read them in order to get cultured. Because nothing says culture like Star Wars. I'm right about that. That is absolutely correct. Nothing says culture like Star Wars. And these comics, they provide stories that you won't see in the movies or the TV shows. These are extra stories. Extra stories of the characters in Star Wars. So, yeah, you'll wanna get yourself Star Wars comics. Just go to your nearby comic store and get a stack of Star Wars comics, and then read them. So this is the travel and culture segment. So you'll be traveling to a nearby comic shop, and the culture you'll get is the original Star Wars stories that you will read when you read the books that you end up getting. So yeah, get a stack of Star Wars comics and then read them. I hope you like this travel and culture segment and travel to a comic shop. Get your culture by getting a lot of Star Wars comics. So, see you on the next segment. Today, on the DIY gift segment of the Alan Holman Show, that's this segment right now, I'll show you something that you can give to a waitress at any bar, and they'll appreciate it. And the gift is simply one of these, a loonie, a Canadian $1 coin. When you're leaving a bar, give the waitress who served you a loonie. She'll appreciate it. Anyway, that was the DIY gift segment of the Alan Holman Show. I hope you enjoyed this segment. Hi. On this segment, I'd like to talk to you about some books. The books that I want to talk to you about are, well, they're foundational to a certain subculture. Let's put it that way. It's a subculture within the wider conspiracy theory genre. It's a subculture that I'm admitting in this episode that I am a member of since 2015. I'll just get right to it. The first book that I would like to recommend is called Flat Earth Clues by Mark Sargent. This book, there seems to be a phenomenon with regards to this book where certain types of people, they will stop reading somewhere around the middle, and then they'll never pick it up again. But I really want to recommend that you read the whole book. Read the whole book. Please, I highly recommend and request that you read this whole book. And the next book I'd like to recommend on this segment is The Greatest Lie on Earth: Proof That Our World Is Not a Moving Globe by Edward Hendry. Do you see a bit of a theme cropping up about the books that I'm recommending on this segment? Yeah. This book is that thick. Read it after you've read Flat Earth Clues. If you think that this idea seems stupid, and most people are trained to think that the idea of flat Earth is stupid, well, let me tell you something. In the world, there are these things called secret societies, and they have influence over what the official stories regarding various topics in the sciences and whatnot are. At a certain level in a lot of branches of science and stuff, there is a part where there's a part where the paradigms flip, and you'll only know what's meant by paradigm flipping when you get to that area in any study of any topic. And the information in that area of study, above the flipping of the paradigm, is relegated to the libraries of various secret societies where they hold the knowledge that isn't readily apparent. Anyway, long story short, if these two books convince you that the people that tell us what the world is are actually a type of magician who are pulling a fast one on us, and the world is actually much different than what we're told by these people who tell us what the world is. If these two books convince you that we're being lied to about the shape of the earth and that the earth is in fact flat, then I want to recommend that you get this book, The Flat Earth Lexicon. This book gives you some cool lingo and code words for use in conversations with other flat earthers. The Flat Earth Lexicon. I recommend you find a copy of this book. It'll give you lingo and code words for use in discussions with other flat earthers. First read these two books, and if they convince you that we're lied to about the shape of the earth, then read this one. But if these books don't convince you that we're lied to about the shape of the earth, then you have no business getting this one. All right, that was my book talk segment of the Alan Holman Show, and we'll see you on the next segment. Today on the culinary art segment of the Alan Holman Show, we'll be looking at this bag that contains 2 bagels. Look at how they artfully put the stuff on top of the bagels. That is culinary art. Anyway, we looked at that, and that was the segment. A quick one, but we'll see you on the next segment. Hi. This segment, you might realize, is in the dark. That's because I'm in the room where I have my projector. That's a still image of, this is from season 6, episode 8 of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I just paused the episode at the part that I'm at in watching it, and this episode is incredibly funny so far. Season 6, episode 8 of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Some of the episodes on the way to getting to this episode have been a little hard for me to watch because the types of situations he gets into, I can actually relate to some of those situations in some ways. And like some of the episodes getting up to where I'm at and watching the series, and I'm at season 6, episode 8, some of the situations he's been in, like he gets into an uncomfortable type of social situation. And in my life, I'm a guy who has gotten into some kind of similar situations, and maybe on future episodes of this YouTube show, The Alan Holman Show, maybe I'll tell you some of those stories, the ones I'm comfortable with sharing anyway. But yeah, some of the episodes have been a little uncomfortable for me to watch because some of the situations that he's gotten in on that show have hit a little too close to home with regards to some social situations that I've gotten into in my life. Um, but regardless, it's a very, very, very good show. And the episode that I'm watching, season 6, episode 8, is extraordinarily funny so far. I just wanted to recommend season 6, episode 8 of Curb Your Enthusiasm. If you haven't seen that episode, you should watch it. Well, actually, you know what? I'm only partway into watching the episode and I made this recommendation, but what if, like, when I see the rest of the episode, I don't any longer recommend it? That is still a possibility because anything can happen. Um, I probably won't report back to you about that on a later segment on this episode. I likely will not. Anyway, let's go to the next segment. Hi, this is the creative writing prompts section of the Alan Holman Show. So here's your creative writing prompt. You have exactly 2 months from the time you watch this episode to complete this creative writing prompt. That is, if you choose to do it. It could be fun. Okay. Take any 2 characters from a TV show you like, and they have to be 2 characters who never enter into a romantic relationship in that entire TV series, or if it's a show that's still on, if it's a show that's still on, 2 characters who have not yet entered into a romantic relationship in the series, but still might. And write a story where they begin a romantic relationship. And then, when you finish writing the story, post it to one of those websites where people post fan fiction, such as fanfiction.net, if that site still exists, or any other site where people post fan fiction. That is your creative writing prompt for this episode. And I'll see you on the next segment. Earth is flat. All right, Mikey. Mikey, my name's Alan Holman. I do a little crappy little show on YouTube, but okay. I'm a flat earther, and I'm very happy to meet you and see your car.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
How long have you been a flat earther?
Yeah, since 2015, yeah, for sure.
Same here. Was it Mark Sargent and Eric Dubé that woke you up?
Yeah, you betcha. And Jeranism.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah, I like Jeranism. Do you ever listen to Iron Realm Media?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Because I'm sometimes, I've sometimes been on that show.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
okay.
But yeah, it's so nice to see a fellow flat earther in Saskatoon.
Yeah, and I was on Flat Earth Banjo the other day. Have you heard of him?
No, I haven't,
He's from
but now
Japan.
I have.
Yeah, I was just on his channel the other day, 4 or 5 days ago. When was it? On the 2nd, whatever. Yeah, Monday.
When I post this, you're going to be on a channel called Alan Holman.
Yeah, okay,
and I'm going to be advertising your channel.
Yeah, awesome, good stuff, man. How many subs you got?
About 300, but
yeah, no, it'll go up for sure. Yeah,
but not many of them watch everything.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Maybe let's get the car in the background too as we're talking.
Yeah,
like that.
Earth is flat.
Yeah,
I love that. So I know a few other flat earthers in Saskatoon, but most of the ones I know don't like to be outed as flat earthers, like they just told me privately.
Yeah, you betcha.
And in fact, the reason I'm wearing this sweater is because I didn't really want to show it until I was seeing you.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Because I don't like a lot of the conversations. Like, I know it's flat because it was proven to me, but I don't like a lot of the conversations that come up.
yeah.
but I love what you're doing. I love that you're
Oh,
inviting
sure.
conversation.
Yeah, am I ever, yeah.
So you're born in Saskatoon?
Yeah, I was born here, raised in Regina, and yeah, I've been to Vancouver and back many times doing this. I used to live in Vancouver for like 3 months.
So this is a Canadian vehicle.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
it's a Canadian raising awareness campaign.
Yeah, you betcha, man. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I go everywhere to the parks, everywhere. Yeah.
Well,
All the football games I'll be going to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
You ever gone to a Riders game with
No,
them?
I physically won't go to watch it, but I'm going to go with the car and drive around the stadium, wake up the city. And,
Yeah, because I find football boring.
Yeah, oh yeah, all
boring.
sports are boring now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you know the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted a few minutes with you, and I really appreciate that you did this.
Oh,
and
awesome. Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
going to
good to
walk
meet
home
you.
soon.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this is the ending segment of the episode. Even though various sources in March of 2015 proved to me sufficient amount of information that that there is a that it how do I say this? Um, even though even though there is a very strong argument for the case that the people who run the world are a type of magician and they are lying to us about the shape of the earth, there's a strong enough argument that I personally identify as a flat earther. It is what I identify as, and therefore I should not be discriminated against because I identify as a flat earther. I mean, there's people that identify as Christian, Muslim, Jewish, and there's people that identify as scientists, as atheists. There's people that identify with their sexual identity. There's all sorts of different sexual identities. And if we're going to accept all of those identities into the world, and if we're going to be tolerant of all the racial differences and all the sexual differences, if we're going to be tolerant of all that, let's also be tolerant of flat earthers. Let's also accept and embrace flat earthers. But with that said, even though I identify as a flat earther, I see, and even though the materials regarding flat earth, they put into context how things like Star Trek are a type of propaganda to help people to continue to believe the lies. Despite that, I am a huge Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek. I can be a flat earther and I can also love Star Trek because simply Star Trek has great stories. Even though I believe that the model of the universe which Star Trek resides in and which mainstream science resides in, even though I believe that that model is flawed on purpose for various reasons, I still love Star Trek because of the stories, the characters, so much about it. I love Star Trek, and I will always love Star Trek. And I will always love learning about the model of the universe that most people believe in, even though Flat Earth includes a different model of the universe, and I am more inclined to believe that different model of the universe. I still love learning about the model of the universe which the mainstream believes in. In my mind, I picture both models, and I love learning both models. It's all very inspirational and intellectually stimulating. And despite what preconceptions you might have, I am aware of some flat earthers who are members of Mensa. Well, actually, I'm aware of at least one. I'm aware of one flat earther who's a member of Mensa, but there's probably more because when you read the material that I've suggested earlier in this episode, um, those books about flat Earth, um, you realize things that you didn't know that you didn't know, and that's all I'm going to say about it. This episode probably seemed weird to a lot of people. Um, well, we'll see what the next episode brings us. Thank you for watching episode 4 of the Alan Holman Show. If this episode seemed weird to you, well, get on the train. Anyway, talk to you later.